Hey, what's up, Lorain County baseball and softball fans? Welcome back to another episode of Diamond Chat, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. Before we get started, gotta remind you to like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. As all the latest videos get dropped, you can find them right there on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and you've got everything you need right there. So again, this is Diamond Chat. I'm your host, Rocco Nucci, the one and only Kristen Bauer behind the camera as we really start to wind this season down. Folks, no more Lorain County baseball or softball teams. So I know we mentioned that last week. Just once again wanted to congratulate all of our local teams for outstanding seasons, both on the baseball and the softball side. A big shout out to the seniors for finishing their careers this season. It was an awesome season to follow along with on WEOL and the Chronicle Telegram. So big shout out to our local teams. But we do have one more Medina County team left in play, folks, and that would be none other than the Medina Bees. They have a regional semifinal contest today against Worcester. So that should be a good contest. Let's take a look at both sides heading into this one. First with Medina, they are 24-6 coming into this one. They broke a single season win record that was set back in 2005. So it's been a really good season for the Bees so far. Looking at their tournament trail, it's been nothing but 1-0 wins for the Bees. 1-0 over Westlake in the sectional final, 1-0 over Lakewood in the district semis, and 1-0 over Brunswick in the district final in a game that you heard on WEOL. And for Worcester, their tournament trail in the Cleveland district has been impressive as well. A 4-1 win over Normandy, a 6-4 win over Brecksville Broadview Heights, and then they knocked off Big Bad St. Ignatius 3-2. That was the top seed in the district final, as Worcester, the Generals, brought home their first district title since 1998. So both Medina and Worcester making history and records this season with their play on the field. So that sets up a really good contest today. Looking at Medina a little more, senior Nate Hill, I think he really needs to have a big game this afternoon. He leads the team with a .378 batting average, 7 home runs, and 42 RBIs. That's a team high, more than double anyone else on the roster. So Nate Hill, I believe he's a Toledo commit. He's really going to have a big game. He had that lone RBI against Brunswick, scoring Danny Stoddard. So looking for Nate Hill to have a big afternoon. And Jack Geyser as well. He threw a complete game shutout against Brunswick, which begs the question, who do they toss against Worcester? They got a couple of other arms that they could go to. Owen Cavey would probably be the likely starter, but we'll see this afternoon who takes the bump for Medina. But Jack Geyser, he had a heck of a game that he pitched against Brunswick. He can play some really nice third base as well. So, and that's a big part of this Bees team. Defense is really where they shine. Obviously, when you're winning 1-0 in the tournament, pitching certainly becomes a forefront of the conversation piece there, but the defense behind the pitching has really been on point as well. So look for Medina to play some really good defense today if they're hoping to knock off Worcester. So looking at the Generals now, Alicia Steiner, he pitched a 4-hit complete game against St. Ignatius. Not sure if that's who they're going to go with today, though. It might be Brady Bowen who gets the start today. He would enter with a 1.15 ERA and a 9-1 record. So some very impressive pitching for Worcester as well. Both those guys, Steiner and Bowen, they can hit. They have averages over 300. So Worcester, similar to Medina, they're just a really good all-around team, as they all are at this point when you get to the regionals. So my question for Medina is, can you solve Brady Bowen if that's who takes the bump for the Generals? You really need some really good at-bats from your guys 1 through 9 in that lineup, especially your top guys, Brennan Stobbs. We talked about Nate Hill and then Jack Geyer. They really need to have good at-bats, kind of set the tone for the rest of that lineup and see if some of the other Bees can come along for the ride. So I expect it to be a low-scoring affair today, no question. Again, really solid pitching on both sides, really solid defense. Not to say that these teams can't hit, but I think at this point and at this level, pitching and defense really kind of move to the top of the focal point. So we'll see how things play out today. And I got to give a shout out to Rick Nolan from the Medina Gazette. He had a really nice article the other day, earlier this week actually, on that middle infield for Medina. That's shortstop Brennan Stobbs and second baseman Max Andrich. One of the best middle infields you'll see in the county, in the state, really across the nation potentially. So keep an eye out for those two. Again, defense will be the main story today for Medina if they're looking to knock off Worcester. So the winner here between Medina and Worcester would march on to the regional final, where they would take on the winner of White House, Anthony Wayne, or Toledo St. John. So two very good, prestigious programs there. We'll see what happens and who marches on to the regional finals and whose season comes to a close this afternoon. Again, Worcester taking on Medina. This one's at Gilmore Academy. Myself and Rob Polinsky will be on the call for you on AM 930 and 100.3 FM WEOL. So that pretty much does it for this week. We got some things coming up, though, before we get out of here that we got to talk about. Once again, we are awaiting the announcement for Lorain Lorain County Mr. Baseball and Lorain County Miss Softball. Very excited to see who brings home the hardware on that front. So again, Lorain County Mr. Baseball and Miss Softball coming up, as well as state softball finals. You can listen to that on WEOL this weekend. Again, none of our local teams, unfortunately, partaking in that, but we'll have the broadcast on WEOL. And then next week, we got All-Star festivities, the All-Star games for baseball and softball here in Lorain County. So we're looking forward to that next week as well. So that will officially do it for this week's episode. For Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I'm your host, Rocco Nushi, saying thank you for watching Diamond Chat, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you guys next week for the finale.